Welcome everyone to the last week of the Fantasy League for the regular split. Let's see how we did so far. Perky still there at the top, enjoying itself. Stefan and D have some catching up to do, and myself and maybe Terry really need to keep getting predictions right. And speaking of predictions, we're going to look at the Superweek. And we're looking at Vitality versus Rogue as our last one. Darius went for straight split Rogue and Vitality with a Vitality win. Martin and myself, well, differed. Rogue and Vitality wins. Stefan went for a Vitality sweep, Terry a Rogue sweep, because they do. D went for a Rogue win, but with a lot of Vitality middle objectives. And Pinky went for Vitality predominantly, save for Baron. Perky went for Dragon and Herald going to Vitality and Rogue, keeping the rest. So, let's see how it goes in the Week 8 Super Week rundown. So we start with Friday, and it's BDS versus Misfits. BDS already out. Misfits wanting to make sure that they get themselves in. And First Blood to BDS didn't help that. To be fair, nor did First Herald. Then Dragon went Misfits' way after they got themselves a slight kill lead. Tower did go to BDS during this replay of a Herald fight, but then Misfits just took over and they got themselves a Baron in nearly 25 minutes and pretty much converted it into the win not long after. Game 2 is SK versus Vitality. SK kind of needed to win all their games. Vitality just really needed to win one. And Herald went Vitality's way. It worked out. Dragon, though, went to SK. First Blood also went to SK. Perks got caught out in the middle. Goodbye. And First Tower did go to Vitality while SK got their second Dragon. And then Baron went SK's way. And then there was this sort of bizarre composition involving a Yasuo and a Rakan. They got themselves a win. Their dreams were still alive. Vitality's starting to struggle a little. Speaking of teams that really needed to win a lot of matches, it was Rogue and XL. More in particular XL. Now a very nice First Blood in the middle got things going. And a Second Blood really. Dragon also picked up by XL. It was all good. And then a little bit of to-ing and fro-ing before Herald finally fell to Rogue, which was then used 4 or so minutes later on not the top tower. I lie. Just remember, I lie a lot. Baron, though, went to Rogue after an ace against XL and it all fell apart. And this is a longer bit because it was a pentakill for Rogue's comp and then a proceeding to winning the game. Game 4, Australis versus Fnatic. Now, Australis needed to keep themselves in this. Fnatic also needed to win a couple of their games to have a chance. And, with the First Bloods, the Heralds, as you can see on the objectives on the top, things were all over the place. Fnatic did get themselves a Dragon. And they got themselves a bottom tower. Quite nice. They also got themselves a Baron and an Ocean Soul and a kill lead and a lot going on, and eventually did get themselves that win, which at this point I believe took Astralis out. Now it was G2 versus Mad Lions. And G2 got themselves the First Blood at the top, 1v1 on the top lane, and Herald also went G2's way. Quite nice. Even the little peak in the bush wasn't stopping it. First Dragon, though, went to Mad Lions. As did First Tower. Just taking Darius axes for no real reason. But then an ace around the Baron led G2 to get the Baron and get the win, qualifying them for Worlds. So that's Friday. Let's move to Saturday. And it's Rogue versus BDS. BDS, nothing to lose. Rogue, everything to really need. And First Blood went Rogue's way on the top lane. Herald also went down, but he went down to BDS. Ah, saved himself. There we go. Who also took the first dragon. And a kill lead. Okay, nothing unusual really. It was early game, it's fine. First tower went to Rogue. Down in the bottom lane. And then BDS just ran with it. Taking down Baron. And then taking down Rogue, which led to their third win. The others being XL and G2. Next game, XL versus SK, and this was an elimination game. And it didn't start off well for XL. First Blood went SK's way. As did the Herald. XL just pushed off. Then, Dragon went to SK as well. See? Lies. First tower also went SK's way. Then, things started to turn. A sneaky XL Baron and an escape led eventually, after 47 minutes, to a win for XL. Fortunately, that takes SK out of playoffs contention. Australis versus Mad Lions was the next game. And First Blood did go Astralis' way. Just. Herald also went their way. As did Dragon. Where were Mad Lions during this, you may ask? Well, they were around. First tower also went to Astralis' way, while another Baron fight happened. Herald fight. This is the Baron fight, which went Mad Lions' way, and while it was all still close, it then took over with a Cloud Soul, and Mad Lions, after nearly 50 minutes, got the win. Game 4, Vitality versus Fnatic. Both of these needed to get a win on their belts, really, in order to keep going. And Fnatic did get themselves a First Blood underneath Vitality's tower. Herald was picked up by Vitality, while we see more mid lane shenanigans. First Dragon, though, went Fnatic's way. And then Vitality got the tower, while this river gaming happened. Though, Fnatic got themselves back on board, and got themselves a Baron as well. And then, after 51 minutes, they eventually got the win. Last game of the day, G2 versus Misfits. This was all about trying to get top 4 secure, and Herald did go Misfits' way. And then, a First Blood in that same fight. But it went to G2, who also nearly aced. And they got themselves a Dragon as well. It was nice. And got themselves mid-tower as the first tower. Then Baron. And Misfits really short on kills or control or anything. Really. And, well, G2 did G2 things. They got themselves the win. But there's one more day to go. The important day. And I'll explain stuff as we go through as well. XL versus Australis. If XL win, then they still had to wait on 2 other matches. So, First Blood went to XL. Very nice. First Dragon, though, went Astralis' way. And then, Herald went Astralis' way as well, while this weird cluster of a fight happened. Then, XL did get the top tower with Herald. And Baron as well. And XL would win this match and end up in a tiebreaker with Vitality. I'll just do the spoilers now, it's fine. But they got the win, which was important. BDS versus Mad Lions, or if we should go the opposite way, Mad Lions versus BDS. And Herald was the first thing that went. It went to Mad Lions. Then, First Blood went their way after a miscalculation of a tower dive. Speaking of tower diving, there's the first tower heading to Mad Lions. And First Dragon, late in the game, went BDS's way. Baron, though, went to Mad Lions. Even the kill score was, it was around. But Mad eventually picked up the win after a hell of a lot more kills later on. Next game, SK versus G2. SK sort of playing for fun. G2 just also playing for fun, really. First Blood went their way. As did Herald. And Dragon. You can probably tell by the tone of my voice where most of the objectives are going here. Oh yeah, look, top tower. It went. As did Baron. And then the win. Just keeping SK under the tower. Vitality versus Rogue next. As we said before, all Vitality needed to do was win, and this wasn't really their best. Yuumi Def, 45 seconds in, it went to Rogue. Herald went to Vitality. Dragon also went Vitality's way. To be fair, so did the tower. But Rogue picked it back up with a Baron, and then proceeded to win the game. Now, that tiebreaker I was telling you about with Vitality, they had to beat XL in order to do it, and it didn't happen, so we say goodbye to Vitality. And last game, Misfits versus Fnatic. At that point, all Fnatic had to do to secure playoffs was win. And Dragon, well, it went Misfits' way very slowly, and then a First Blood happened pretty much the same time as obtaining said Dragon. I just needed something else to show. First Herald went Misfits' way though, which was quite nice. And then the tower went that way as well. Misfits sort of holding their own against Fnatic here, but then, well, upset happened basically. And Baron went Fnatic's way, and eventually they got the win as well, maintaining their not missing playoff streak. Right, let's bring up the scores. Here we go. Week 8. Perky at 52, Stefan 51, Pinky and Terry at 49, Martin and myself at 48, D at 44, Darius at 40. Now remember those points were out of 90, so a lot of people did okay. Right, now it's time to bring up the actual scores, the total scores. So there we go, Perky 289, Martin 276, Pinky 275, Terry 273, Darius 271, myself at 268, and then out of the game by a point was Stefan at 267, and D at 230 wasn't getting there either. Right, we got 2 weeks off now, so we'll see you then with playoffs round 1.